Good morning. Hey, so yesterday we talked about the habit loop, right? What were the four parts of the habit loop? Anybody remember? How many of you all watched it? I know it was a Sunday, so if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. So we were talking about the habit loop. It starts with cue, rolls into craving, down into response, and then over to reward, right? So the top of that is the problem phase, the bottom is the solution phase. First, the problem is introduced to you by the cue, at which point it turns on a craving in you and elicits a response for which you go into your habit and perform the response, and your body or your mind rewards you for the decision that you made, which completes the habit loop. That continuous reward keeps making you think that this is a good habit because you're getting the reward for the response in which you did. So today we're going to answer that first question: is how do you make it obvious? How do you create your own cue to create your habits? So first off, we went into a little bit about creating a bunker last week, right? You want to redesign your environment to make those cues for your preferred habits more obvious. That sounds complicated, and it's probably a little bit easier. Some of this we've already gone through, sitting shoes out for exercising, right? Making sure that you don't have unhealthy candy in your home, making sure you have your glass of water sitting next to you, make sure you have a book so you don't pick up your phone for social media, etc. So have those, make your environment more hospitable to giving you the cues to do the good habit. So once that habit's formed, you're not going to need to consciously think about having all that stuff ready. It's just going to be part of your habit. That's part of the 66-day challenge, is getting through day to day to day to day to day in order to make sure that that's obvious. So be careful though, because not only do these habits create great benefits, but they can also be dangerous, right? Like if you're cue to having a bad day, or having a bad day is your cue, and that elicits a craving of eating chocolate, right? And then we eat the chocolate, which is our response, and then the reward is we're happy because we ate chocolate. Like that can be a bad loop to get into, right? So, other examples, I knew a lifeguard that used to yell walk every time he'd see a kid running, even when he wasn't at the pool, right? Child running, yells walk. I know teachers that often will use the word friends even when talking to family, right? Because they're so used to talking to their elementary school friends. So today, as far as making it obvious, the first thing we really need to do is make it obvious. So what are we going to do? We're going to create a list. And so as you walk around for the next 24 hours, it's about 10 o'clock now. So depending on what time you watch this, just pull out a piece of paper and start making a list. For the next 24 hours, as you do something that feels habitual, so whether that's turning on the light, brushing your teeth, when you go to the bathroom, when you shower, when you exercise, when you eat, where you eat, what you eat, phone calls, checking text messages, anything you can think of that could be considered a habit, write it on the piece of paper, okay? Just, again, we're trying to be aware. You've got to be aware of what these cues are in order to recognize and change them. So write down the cues as they're happening to you, especially if it involves the habit that you've chosen to make this challenge. And then after you've made that list, or as you're making the list, you can put down next to it a plus or a minus as to whether or not you think it is a positive or a negative, or an equal if you don't think it's either one or the other. Giovanni put on here that he wants to wake up at 6 a.m., right? So waking up, which is a habit, right? We all wake up each day. For him might be a positive, but for others, just simply getting up might just be an equal sign because it's what we do each day. So this list will change for everybody. And along with that, don't judge yourself while you're making this list, right? Like that's not what the point of this list is for. Don't blame yourself for your faults if you think there are faults on this list. And also don't praise yourself for the successes, right? These are the habits that have formed at this point. So just notice them today, write them down. If you're having a tough time, you can even do the point and call out method. So literally as you go to do it, say, oh, that's me grabbing an Oreo, right? That's me thinking through the process. That's me hearing the sounds of the notification on my phone and picking it up and checking the message, right? Say it out loud. That brings you awareness, that gives you power over it. And that's our first day. Oh, speaking of first day, that was day 6 for my bread challenge. Boom. And I hope that you all are checking these off and making these quite obvious for yourselves as well. Thank you all very much. We're going to get into a little bit more of making it obvious tomorrow. Have a great day. Creating a habit.